Aloha, my name is Kristara Lakshmidetten. I'm coming to you from beautiful Florida today, and I call myself a holistic wellness coach as well, an inner alchemist. I help people to heal and reset their body, mind, and spirit to function more on their terms so that they can create their life of their dreams. Today, I would like to talk a little bit deeper about depression, what will cause it, and how can we actually start a journey to leave it. And I have also my personal experiences with it. Many of my clients have been struggling with it. So what I will do with this video is first I will give you more like a general approach and general information. And as this is done, I'll also dive deeper into my approach holistically, how and what I see are the reasons people get into the depression. So without further ado, let's jump in. So, depression is something which is really a mental health issue. Many people are struggling with it. And of course, my first suggestion or recommendation is when you are struggling with it, please find a professional person who can help you, whether it's a therapist, psychotherapist, or, a person who deals with such issues. I share this because many people, address it, or when they come to me, they ask about it. So I'll make this video so it's easier also in the future to just give them a link, and so they can get like a little general information, a little deeper holistic information as well. So what is causing depression is there are many different things. It can be biological, psychological, social, or environmental factors which are playing in. So one of the things is the brain chemistry imbalance. So what happens is that the neurotransmitter levels, especially serotonin and dopamine and norepinephrine, can disrupt communication with the brain and contribute to the, symptoms of depression. There are so many ways nowadays people are trying to figure out how to influence that as well. And as again, I would recommend you to talk to a specialist and professional who knows how to influence that part. And then, of course, genetic factors. I personally think that even if we have had that in our families previously, there is a huge part we can do also ourselves. So many times, many people I see also start to hide behind this, like, oh, my grandmother was depressed and kind of died of it, or whatever the case is. So it can be a component, but there can be many other reasons to it. So stressful life events. So that can be when someone died, or, there was something else, relationship difficulties, financial problems, job loss, academic pressure, physical illness. It can be very many things which will push us into that. What happens also many times when we get into these kind of big changes is we are pushed into transition of change. And many times people don't want to go into that especially when they are forced, Then we have biological factors, so medical conditions. It can be hormonal imbalances, neurological disorders, thyroid disorders, autoimmune disease, chronic pain, neurological conditions as Parkinson's and multiple sclerosis. So when that's the case, again, see the specialist. They know what to do and what you should, focus on. Then, of course, psychological factors, vulnerabilities as low self-esteem, negative thinking patterns, perfectionism, maladaptive coping strategies, and also unresolved trauma, childhood adversity, past experiences, abuse can really influence that. And when we have had these things and not address them, there are times when they just compound on top of each other, and then that's when depression can, take over. Another huge thing is social isolation and lack of support. So loneliness, no many people, local and social support is not available. And, supportive relationships are maybe not nearby, or a person is also kind of so caved in, is not reaching out for help as such. Personality traits as well, as neuroticism, introversion, pessimism, these can also influence this condition. And also, when we are in this like vicious cycle of negative thoughts, then what happens is we start to see ourselves very negatively, but we also start to see everything which is happening around us as well, very, very negative. And then, of course, what we focus on, we get more of. And then, of course, a big thing is substance abuse. So it can be substance abuse, but it can be also dependence, can be alcohol, it can be drugs, prescription medications, and it's a really, really deep issue. And it can, in a way, the reason why people many times start to use it is also they try to get away from emotional pain or other things. And as they do that, of course, all of the chemical changes which one goes through with substance starts to influence the mood and everything else in the body, mind, and spirit. And then, of course, chronic health conditions. So like cancer, diabetes, heart disease, chronic pain, they can all impact, all of the mood and everything else which is going with that. And also if we have like physical limitations to move or what else there can be, it can really create more despair and hopelessness and create more challenges as well. And then, of course, there are environmental factors, so such as socioeconomic statuses, access to healthcare, cultural factors, discrimination, exposure to violence or trauma, mental health stuff, impact, and then all of these things together may influence, that condition. So there were quite many, different like general regions here. And now, how generally we can also start to work with it. I'll share also some of the points, what you can start with to turn these things really one by one around. So first of all, again, seek professional help. It is very important. And then also that, you have to probably work on this for a certain period of time. It's not going to help just to do one session. It's probably going to be a longer process. So be patient, find the right people or places or organizations, and then, commit to the therapies or help you're getting. What they are suggesting are, for example, cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps to identify and challenge negative thought patterns and develop coping skills. And also interpersonal therapy, psychodynamic therapy, and mindfulness-based therapies may also be very beneficial. Then, of course, the general suggestion is also look into the possibility of antidepressant medications. I personally wouldn't recommend it, but sometimes people are actually getting help. And then, of course, don't do it without a professional suggestion and recommendation. Then, of course, healthy lifestyle changes, healthy lifestyle habits. So it can be, regular exercise, balanced nutrition, adequate sleep, stress management, mindfulness meditation, and relaxation exercises can really help as well. So, and then we come back to the social support. So stay connected with supportive friends, family members, support groups, sharing feelings, experiences with trusted individuals. So you need a little bit of that emotional validation and practical assistance and a sense of belonging. So very, very important to find those right people, right places, and ways to express yourself. And then also setting realistic goals. I see many people who are in that situation, they may be over exceeding or trying to jump over their shadow. And it's really recommended to take things apart and maybe do everything in smaller steps, and increments. And then, of course, limit stress. Stress is the killer here, go into deeper like time management, boundary setting, assertiveness, and, how to maintain a control and avoid overwhelm. So a very good like way to look at that as well. Engage in activities which bring you joy and happiness, fulfillment, sense of purpose. And many times also it can actually help when you start to maybe volunteer or help someone else, because then the focus goes away from you and wherever you are stuck. Avoid all kinds of substances, if possible, alcohol and drugs. So that can actually worsen your situation. And then, of course, stay connected, meaning, and also committed with your treatment plan, people and organizations which are like helping you. And all of this would really, really invite us all to, be kind, patient, and, follow the steps, because when we are so lost in it, we need actually the outside help and really accountability as well to get out of that. So I used a little help with my notes here because I just want to kind of cram it in and now go a little bit of deeper also like about my own experiences with this, and then how I have figured out and kind of see it more like a holistic spiritual aspect as well. So in my life, I've had many, many life changes. So when you have traveled to 32 countries, moved over 55 times, lived in 6 countries, and done like immigration in 6 countries as well, it is a lot of change. So it can be like, you just get settled in one place and then you have to move, and then all of the friends, all of the connections you had in that place are gone, and you kind of like start over. And when you do it for very often and very many times, in the end you almost like don't want to connect to anyone, because it's like, what's the point? I'm going to move again. And my moves were oftentimes conditioned because of my studies or my work, and latest moves also have been connected to a co-creation project with my husband and stuff. So it can be like many reasons. So I have nothing against moving and traveling, and I like that, and it's like part of my character in works. But there has been some times which has been like kind of very challenging and more difficult. So I could say that in my case, as someone who comes from a family of alcoholics, so I already had lots of tendencies of like addiction, and my body probably, even growing up, I was like a passive smoker. My parents were smoking, late 70s in the room, and I was like, breathing in all of that. And, there are lots of other things which happen as well. So what that does is that you may actually sucked in it in energetically as well. You may also have still some chemical imbalances in your body. So I remember when I was in Norway, like maybe third year there, and I went to a holistic fair, and I did a picture of my whole body, which shows like all the organs and like how the conditions are and so on. And all my lungs were red. And I was like, what the heck is going on? I'm not smoking. No one in my like, close proximity was smoking. Like, what the heck is going on? And then I went back in time. It's like, wow, can this be like from passive smoking when I was a child for 6 years? And it could. So I went through like a deep detox to really kind of, on the body and cellular level, detox that toxin level out of my system, which took quite a while, but worked magically. So now what also happens when we use substances is that energetically, we go to a lower frequency. When we go to a lower frequency, then we start to attract lower energies. And when we start to attract lower energies and even entities, then they actually live and thrive of conflict and negative energy and, on lack energy. So when we are in it, it's very, very hard to get out of it because our body, mind, and spirit gets all very, very used to that, And stressful life events, like I totally agree, like whether it's like someone's dying, different things may happen. The thing with this one is like when I look at that from the spiritual perspective is that something big in that whatever the change is dying. And we should actually go consciously into the process of grief. So like, okay, this part of my life died, this person died, this like dream of having the future with this person died. So now I have to create a new page, and there is no point of me like, hanging on to this image or vision because it's done, it's over with. So I need to, turn the page. It can happen actually very fast with all of my moves. After a while, I actually learned how to do it very fast. I can be in South Africa, Cape Town one day, next day, travel to Tromsø, Northern Norway, set up my life there, go to the party next day, and really start my new life. Because there was no point in dragging behind, like, oh my God, like I can't see my South African friends, or like now I'm kind of like losing contact with them and so on. So, and many times also the moves or the changes are actually also part of our life mission. So this is something spirit is, helping us to experience. So it's like preparing for something else. So if I go back on my timeline, I see many of these things, going to the Danish folk high school was preparation for my, university in Oslo, in Norway. And then all of the stuff which came after that was like all building up on those previous steps, So, of course, medical things that can be really serious. But nowadays, there's so many ways we can also approach all of this very holistically. And also, many of the times, the chronic issues our bodies also have, they are actually chronic pain or chronic psychosomatic issue, which actually can be solved. There are so many powerful people in the world now who actually are proving, that this is possible. So I totally believe in that as well. So even if it is thyroid or autoimmune, I think there can be so much done also from inside out. And if you look for those people, you definitely will find that, And childhood stuff and so on, that's super, super important because these are like foundational things which are in us. It's like ingrained in us, weaved into us. Until we are 6 years old, we are like sponges. We take in everything what's going on in our close proximity, and there's no filter. So we actually, as adults, have a responsibility to go back and cleanse all that stuff out. Most people never do. When you do, then of course you help yourself to live a more fulfilled life here and now. And that's why the inner work is so, so important, that we don't like, shovel it under the carpet and kind of close our eyes like, oh, it's fine. It's actually not fine. We can do a lot, So social isolation, that has been like a huge thing, especially when we had COVID happening. We just moved to San Diego, and I think it was like 8 months in there. I'm a very people person, very outgoing. I like to socialize. I like to go to new places, meet new people, and I couldn't do that. So everything was in like total lockdown. Even my gym was closed for 8 months. It was like crazy. Even the beach was closed for some time. So I was really getting super, super depressed. And then I was thinking like, okay, who are the people who I would really get like emotional support, who I would like to share what's going on, and who would be also like kind of in the same realm, spiritual, deep, have lots of mature thoughts and consciousness. And I figured out those 3 people who I met actually in Mexico. We set up regular Zoom meetings, started to meet, and and we have had this now going for 3 years, and the fourth one is going. And it's so amazing. Every time we meet, we catch up, like say, okay, what have we been doing? What have been experiencing? And then we always ask like what kind of support we would need. And then each one will throw out some, ideas. So, and that's like so huge. It takes maybe 1.5 hours, 2 hours, and we feel so fulfilled for until the next time. In the beginning, we had those meetings like pretty often. After some time, we actually decided that, okay, we don't need them that much. And then according to also if someone is traveling and so on, we also change the dates. And right now it's like approximately once a month, and that's totally, enough. So that's very important. If you don't have people in your close proximity, we have so many ways to connect with them on FaceTime or Zoom or like whatever, format you choose. So that's really, really smart to use that, And another thing, I will get into the mental part in a bit, but let me see if there is anything else I wanted to mention here. Yeah, and then environmental factors. So that's like super important because also when I was in different cultures, so I could feel, because I really read the energy so well, I could also feel like even almost like a collective consciousness, how they had suppressed something. And then when it has been happening for too long, then it's actually starting to influence each individual who is there, even if you are just a guest or there for a short period of time. So that's also really good thing to know. And then that's when also this like inner, check comes in, so that you kind of like figure it out, what you can do, where, you are, all of these things. And then another thing super, super important is limit stress. In my case, I'm a really high achiever woman. So many times what happens is I'm just overextending myself over a period of time, and then I can actually burn out. And when I burn out, then I don't want to do anything for a while. And it's very important that we also like, prevent that, like, even things out, avoid stress, like see how we can balance and do things differently. Super, super important, as stress is really, really, really a bad influence. And what also helps me to avoid stress is really good time management. I use Google Calendar. I put also all of my meetings there. I put like how I take care of my body, my mind, my spirit. And I also, set really good boundaries. Sometimes it is I have to say no, or I have to change stuff. Like even today, I had to change one meeting because my inner intuition was saying I have to do that. So I was doing that and honoring that, And sometimes you need to say no to someone so that you can say yes to you, because yes to you is maybe more important than that no for someone else, And then, of course, the activities to enjoy, so super important, because sometimes we just become these like serious adults who are just like kind of just doing one thing and, no joy, no, fulfillment. And we kind of really get like totally disconnected, So very, very important. So now going a little deeper, I like what Socrates was saying. Unexamined life is not worth living. And this is why I love spiritual stuff and holistic approach, because you can go deep in and you can figure things out like really, really easily. So when I was thinking now about depression from that spiritual holistic point of view, then we could say like number one thing many times is also that the person is not living their fulfilling their realization, so to say, their life mission. They haven't like discovered it, and they are not using their talents and skills and expertise and knowledge and wisdom to serve them or serve this planet. So they are doing something just to get the money, and they are pushing it. There's lots of effort. By the end of the day, are super tired. They hate their job. The whole thing is like really against. So anytime you do anything against yourself or you're pushing yourself, that's like actually leaking your energy. It's wasting your time. It's wasting your potential on this planet as well. So that's like the core thing which I have figured out about myself and also many of my clients. So as we are starting to go deeper in, then we can like figure it out. But many times also we can't go straight into the life mission, because according to my abundance wheel as well, it's actually, one of the sectors. It's not the first one. The first one is always relationships. So relationship to yourself and yourselves, included your inner child, inner woman, inner man archetypes, because these are like holy trinity. They have to be healed and reset. And before they are not, we can't jump to the talents. And when we want to jump over the relationship part and start with the talents and the life mission, then the money doesn't, create itself, because, things are getting stuck because we have been trying to leap over some very important parts. And this abundance wheel stuff happened to me some years ago, when I had several clients coming to me and they said, Crystal, I think my main problem is I really need money. I need money because money would like, solve all my problems. And even my, depression is all stuck in the money. And then we started to look and assert, like kind of do a little assessment. And then before you knew it, like what came out was that, yeah, true. It was actually in their relationship with themselves. So let me just share my screen for a moment so that you can see what I mean. So here you see the abundance wheel. We have sexuality in the middle because we are all born from, most of us, from sexual connection to people coming together, creating us. Then we have relationships with others and with ourselves because we have many selves. Then we have health, and then we have life mission and abundance. And when everything is going, flowing, and everything is filled, healed, reset, and activated, it starts with relationships. That usually also influences sexuality instantly. Then is health, then is life mission, and the result is the abundance. So we can't jump like, from here to here. We have to go through all of these elements. We have to cleanse them, we have to reorganize them, and then we have to like get it all going. So when we talk about, health part here, we talk about, good food, healthy food, nutrition, we talk about good water, we talk about sleep and rest, we talk about regular movement, we talk about also intimacy and sex, and also like conscious breathing. So all of these like body things, but we also talk about the mind. So this is how do you, consciously guide your thoughts, your words, and how you take action with all of that, but also how you manage your time and money, organize, your life in general. And then we also talk about spirit. So this is all of the inner world, the inner parts. And many times when we are in depression, the inner parts are totally neglected. They are in full pain. They are like screaming inside out, and we have to discover and go deeper into like where are those emotions kind of like rooted, and also start to really like almost communicate with those emotions and like ask like, okay, what is your message? And then listen, what is the message? And even maybe ask like, where are you rooted, where you created? And then comes out that maybe something very important was actually created in your childhood, and you had no idea that it was like connected that far back. And what's really interesting with this is that when we talk about emotions, I've recently done like a major deep dive here. And actually, it doesn't even matter like whether you have depression or what, but depression, when you have depression, then it's even like bigger. Those people, many times, they have very, very strong anger towards themselves, towards the others, but they also have bitterness. So bitterness is almost like anger, which is like gone bad. It's like marinated so much that it's just gone bad. And what this is all about many times is that we actually haven't met our needs, and we also have let other people overdrive our boundaries. And when we are angry, we like push everything. It's like a repellent energy. We push everything away. And then no intimacy is possible with yourself or yourselves, your inner selves, or with others. And then also it creates, the anger also creates fear and creates guilt. And now when we put together anger, guilt, and fear, it amplifies the anger even more. And then when it's like fueled like that, then this is like pushing away energy. It's pushing away possibilities. It's pushing away, work and money, and scaling to the next level. So that's really, really important to look into, like, where is your anger from, and how is it rooted somewhere? And then also really kind of look deeper how you can get the message, what can you change? And usually it also gives you ideas. How can you start to meet your needs? How can you express them also verbally, not just swallow them? And as you do it, then also what starts to happen is like other people start to learn to also change the way they communicate with you, or also even like perceive you. And another very important part here is, when we talk about health, and especially the spirit side, is your spirit has to have a very clear vision where it's going. Why are you here? What are you doing? What's your goal? What's your target? Where are you heading? And if you don't have that, then many people fall into depression, because the spirit needs the guidance. It needs the harbor where to kind of head, where to direct itself. When it doesn't have the vision or like destination, it just like dies. Like all of your fire element actually dies out. And when your fire element is dying out, you can't create anything, you can't manifest anything, because to manifest, you actually need all the elements. You need fire, you need water, earth, and air. But fire is one of the key components, and it's connected to your life mission as well. You have to feel that passion to do something so much that, time disappears. You don't even like, remember why you're doing what you're doing. You just enjoy it so much. And you're just so passionate. You're so full of it that when people come near you, they can even feel that you're like emanating that like heat. And many times also when people get stuck in the depression kind of a loop or vicious cycle, is that they get stuck in pain. They are trying to, cover up the pain, whatever the pain is. Maybe it's from the childhood, maybe from adulthood, whoever was wounding them. And then they try to cover it up, maybe with food, maybe with substances, maybe with just like, okay, I'm just gonna watch Netflix like 5 hours in a row, whatever it is. And, we need to stop and like, even just have a little conversation. Ask, what's the message of your pain? Where is it rooted? Why is it there? What can you do to really help it dissolve and, dissipate into cosmic dust, maybe? And then when you do it, you will also clean so much, like everything what's been connected to that actually collapses. And then you can start to create your life, differently. Another really important thing, which is kind of connected to all of the sectors here, are actually the 10 saboteurs. So many of you may not know, but you all have 10 saboteurs. When you are in depression, your saboteurs are running the show. So Shirsad Shamin is one of the persons who created positive intelligence. I even was part of his positive intelligence coaching program, and I am now also a positive intelligence coach. And what we learned within that year was who are those 10 saboteurs and how to actually change the dynamic and let them know that they are not on the captain's seat. They are not living with you anymore. And you actually change it and you invite in your inner sage. And your inner sage has actually also 5 beautiful powers, which you then reactivate. And then you start to lead your life from that perspective. And if you have never heard about the saboteurs, I'll just mention shortly, and then I kind of actually also go deeper into a couple of them because they are very influential when it comes into depression. So the whole 10 saboteurs are actually orchestrated and led by the saboteur called Judge. So he or she is judging all the time. Everything is put into containers or different, like, categories. And when we judge someone, it's like impossible to get the energy work in a good way. So then we have controller, we have stickler, we have avoider, we have hyperachiever, we have pleaser, we have victim, we have restless, we have hyper vigilant, and we have hyper rational. So number one, also saboteur who I see in the depression case is actually a victim. People go into that victim mode. Oh, poor me. I don't have a job. Like I lost my husband. This happened, that happened. Poor me. Wow, wow, wow. And then what happens is to turn this around also, we can invite in our inner sage. And the sage 5 powers are empathy, explore, innovation, navigate, and activate. So I can actually put down below a TED talk by Shirzad Samin into this video information, and also my own little video about the saboteurs, so you can get a little extra value as well. So first of all, to understand that whatever condition we are in, we also have created it and helped to create it. So we have to start to take also responsibility, like, oh my God, I was part of creating this depression. So it wasn't just the victim, saboteur. It was like I was also influencing, I was giving, permission to this to happen. And another one is pleaser. So pleaser is, we are tiptoeing around the people. We don't want to rock the boat. And then we don't express our needs. We let people do overdrive our boundaries. And that's just like when it compounds over time, it just creates massive, trouble. And another one who I would mention is avoider. Avoider is just pushing things, pushing things. You have a deadline and you just like, I don't want to do it. I just rather like do something else. And then it builds up guilt. And then, as I said, guilt is a friend and sibling of anger. And then you may even develop extra fear. And then they are all having a party. You have no control, and those saboteurs are like kind of having a feast at your expense. So what is really also amazing way out of this is like, hey, I created it, okay, probably lots of things like influenced it, like as I was kind of mentioning here. And now, like, give yourself permission, like, okay, I can change this. I am going to change this. And giving yourself permission, yes, this is what it is. And really take the time to talk to them, energies and pain or whatever the case is, so that you get the messages, you get these different like parts in you to really feel that they are listened, that they are acknowledged. And then, as you go through all of these different sections here, what happens is, you're are able to activate your life mission. And then as you are able to do that, then of course abundance and money is a very like easy result to the whole process as well. And there are so many ways how you can start to also turn this around. I'll just mention a couple of things what I do. So as I work so closely with my inner family archetypes, as I feel that they are my divine, really like divine team or divine family inside, then I do certain things each week so that I know that they are fulfilled and they feel like appreciated, acknowledged. And then they also feel that I spend time with them and then they want to also serve me. Like with humans, they just like invisible form, parts of you which are there, in a divine form. And so, like with my inner woman, I do a bath once a week. I have Epsom salt. I have beautiful, like bubble bath with like different herbal scents and stuff. So I'm sitting there enjoying, soaking, and enjoying that time, like just, with myself and relaxing and, doing nothing basically. And that's the element of the inner woman as well, because that's how she rejuvenates and reactivates everything, plus will get the messages or intuition messages to me. What do I need to do next or not do next? Another thing I do is I write my diary every day, at least 20 minutes. And this is a really, really amazing practice. So I've done this now almost 4 years. And I always looked at, the diary I have has to look really inviting. Like this one here is golden. And I figured out like how many pages I need to write for this to be like 20 minutes. And this is my time to process. Like as I'm right now here in America, my mother tongue is different. I write it in my mother tongue. It's also like I feel I can just share everything. I don't need to hold anything back. So this is my best friend. This is my way of processing things. When I get frustrated, sometimes I can't, fall asleep. I actually just come and write it all out. I process it like out, writing things down. And then, of course, walking or movement, especially if you do movement which you like figure out what's your favorite movement. And if you haven't been doing much movement, take it slow, step by step. But, whether it's like walking on the beach or in the forest or in a park, figure it out. When we were staying in Texas, it was not much to do, and parks were also really weird and so on. But we found one park which had lots of squirrels in it. And my inner child really loved squirrels. And just like seeing them running around and being goofy and funny and playful just gave me so much joy. And it had also lots of trees, like pine trees and so on. So we did several loops, but it was a fun place to go, like that. Also, when you are moving, your whole body chemistry will change. You will help your lymph system to get activated. And also it changes all of your, chemical balance, your hormonal balance and so on. And when you start to do it regularly, then everything also will adjust with your body, with your mind and spirit as well. And then I would also recommend to write down, like do basically two lists. Like one list, you write down everything what sucks in your life, everything you are sick of, you're tired, you don't like, you hate in your life. Write everything down on one page, then take another separate page and then go through all of the things on the negative list and one by one turn them into positive or conscious. Like if you put on the negative, like I'm so sick and tired that I don't have enough time to do things I love. On the positive one, you will write, I have all the time in the world because I'm financially independent and I do what I love. I am with the people I love. I travel when I want. So you basically write the opposite. And as you go through all of the negative ones and write them into the positive ones, you burn the negative list, you have then the positive list, and then you will read that positive list into your phone. And then every night before you go to bed, you listen to that list. So it's a positive affirmation for your subconscious to start to change, to start to build new streets, new, pathways for your subconscious. And then when you wake up, that's the first thing you do as well. It can take some minutes, but you can set your clock a little early if need to be, and then you start enjoying it that way. And when you do it over a period of time, as you know, subconscious is like a dog who you need to train with regular repetitious stuff. And when you do it enough, you'll close down the old streets, the old stuff, it will dissolve, fall away, and you build up the new, and then it will actually start to work like a clockwork. Like in my case, now I have such a strong morning routine that there are very few things which can really like kind of get it off. So it's like I wake up. So first thing is I go and do some kind of movement, walk on the beach, go to the gym, do my bicycle run. And then after that, I'll do the rest and start my day according to what, weekday it is. And now, as I do it every day, if I don't do it, I feel so weird because my body chemistry is so used to this all the time that I just like, I don't want to feel weird or bad. So I just choose to just keep it up all the time. And to keep all of this up with the body, mind, and spirit, especially with anything to do with the body maintenance. We talk about food, water, sleep, movement, and breath. I actually developed something I call a body container. So every day I started to track and put information in there. And as I was tracking it for several months, actually it turned into my habit. And now I don't need any effort to get to the gym. I don't need any effort to do any of the stuff. I do my special Bastrika breathing 3 times a week, 3 times a day. And it's just like clockwork. And that's what happens when you get things, upgraded. And also really helpful for me has been to be in the water, like figure out what's your element. My case, it's water because I am kind of like, I call myself a human mermaid. So I need to be walking by the water, be on the water, swim in the water, surf in the water, sail on the water, kayak or paddle, So anything to do with water rejuvenates me, resets me, activates me, heals me. So in my case, it's water. So in your case, maybe it's mountains, so it's earth, or forest, So you have to go and use that as, your medicine in a way. If it's fire, so if nothing else, maybe you just need to start to burn a candle every day, If you have a fireplace, do that, or if you can do the fire outside, even better, And also when it's air, so maybe you are the kind of a person who needs to go to like high towers or fly or like whatever is like kind of higher up, also like up in the mountains as well. So the elements can really support us and uplift us from all the rut in a way. And at home, it's very good to also create your own space. So even if it's just like a little corner, which is separated with a little curtain or like cloth, you have maybe a little candle, maybe a little chair, so you can meditate or read or write or whatever. And this is so important that you have that and create it the way you would like. So that is your sacred space, your sacred time. And then it's also very important that you also teach others around you in a way to really also honor it when you are there, that they don't just run in. You let them know, I'm going to go into my sacred space now, please don't disturb. And then people also around you will learn, okay, this is what's going on. And to wrap this up, number one thing which I also felt was many times bringing me into depression was actually my inner child, who was so wounded, so depressed, and like would say angry because of some kind of needs were not met, or it really felt like it didn't get enough love or acknowledgement, or wasn't feeling safe enough. So this is really important to like figure out like how can I make my inner child feel more, acknowledged and loved and, important and as such. So I will also put a little link underneath this video. So in case you would like to go and try out to meet your inner family archetypes, this is a little guided meditation. You can do that and get to know, like, what does she need or he, and get the communication and healing and resetting process going. Inner child is also connected to the basic needs, like it needs good food, it needs the shelter, it needs, everything it needs to stay survive, alive, clothes and safeness. And inner child, when it's not taken care of, starts to kind of work together with the inner saboteurs. So as you see, like this inner world, everything is interconnected. And once we start to like really go deeper in and start to take it like apart, step by step, we can see like, wow, this is like a big inner alchemy universe, and we can start to really influence it step by step. And even though maybe this video felt like a little overwhelming because there was too much information, what I would also recommend after this video has been uploaded, then underneath the video, if you scroll all the way down, there is a little button there which is transcription. So you can click there and it will give you the whole list of what I talked about. You can print it out and read it several times and maybe even underline and then put those things to work, those assignments I gave, do those, and you will see instant change with all of the, elements which can start to uplift you out of this deep, space of depression and kind of being under. But the final word is I am not a psychotherapist. I am not a doctor. So you definitely also, if you are really kind of long time in depression, you need to meet those people and figure that out as well. But I really hopefully believe that what I shared here today gave you some new perceptions and perspectives, which you can also use to help yourself to that next level. Because truly, we are here to really fully enjoy and fully share our gifts and talents. And every moment when we are not doing it, it's actually wasted. So please don't waste it, because you are unique. You have your talents and skills, and please use it like, consciously and, share it. And I'm also going to reorganize a lot of my videos in YouTube from previous time, and I'm going to organize them topic-wise, and then also my weekly videos as they come by. I also have ideas what to do, but also if any of you have suggestions or you are interested in something I do, like, hey, Crystal, would you be so kind and kind of explain this? I like don't understand this. Let me know, and then I'm really happy to record a little extra video about this. And we actually also have like a whole program where we use most of that abundance wheel terminology. It's called Reinvent Yourself. So if there is someone here who would like to do that, also click the link below where you can go and actually do a self-study course. And of course, if you would like to have me as a coach in addition to that, that can be added for a little additional cost as well. Because what I have experienced over 20 years doing now coaching internationally, that this abundance wheel is the core key. Like whoever comes into my life as a client, whatever they need, it's always basically the basic thing we assess is actually the abundance wheel. And it just tells me right away, like, okay, we need to really focus this, and then step by step, go to those other levels. And before you know it, like everything kind of comes together and money starts to flow as well, because, all of these things have to be reorganized, reset before money can really start to kind of flow with ease. And what you also will find below here is the links to my beautiful one-to-one coaching programs right now, the Inner Alchemy Relationship Program, where with 3 months you can learn how to heal and reset and start the process of healing and resetting your inner child, inner woman, inner man. And doesn't matter whether you are already in a relationship or are wanting to have one, this one helps both with professional and also personal relationships very, very well. And it gives you so many tools and assets for the rest of your life. And then I have the Positive Intelligence, the mental fitness program, where within 3 months, you actually learn how to get to know all of your beautiful saboteurs, the 10 saboteurs, how to redirect and change the dynamic, and then also reactivate your inner sage with the 5 powers. And then I also have Reset the Wellness Program, which is a beautiful, amazing program helping your body to transform into the body you always wanted to have on your terms. So beautiful, amazing things. Some people choose all free and jump into a transformation year program where we actually go through all 3 different deep dives. So up to you. And if you would like to be kind of the deep diver who's going in, I would recommend also to actually check out the Calendly link, especially if you are interested into going deeper and commit for several months working with me. So you can sign up a complimentary call there, and we can get together and see how I could help or how we can co-create. So that's possible too. So thank you so much. And I hope this was massive value for you. If you know at least 5 people who would get also value of this, please don't hesitate to share, because sharing is caring. And thank you so much. Lots of aloha. Please subscribe and share the good message all around. Okay, bye. Aloha.